Welcome to my smart garage. I wanted to see what kind of automations I could add in here. So over the last year, I've been slowly adding tech, and now it's packed full of smart home devices and automations that I love. Starting here with the garage door. So most of the automations here in the garage revolve around the garage doors being opened or closed. And I used to rely on the smart garage door opener that the builder put in, but then the company that made that, Evil Corp, decided to block their API access, so I had to find a workaround to make it work with my smart home again. And so for this garage door, I'm using RAT GDO. It stands for Rage Against the Garage Door Opener, which is just an awesome name. And that connects straight to Home Assistant and gives me extra controls and allows me to automate and see when this garage door is open or closed again. On this side, I'm using the Mera Smart Garage Door Controller. It's a lot easier to set up because you don't need to tap into the wires for the garage door controller. All you need to do is install a sensor, and then it uses a little wireless controller to open and close the garage door. So it's really simple, and they both work fantastic. They're local, and everything's been working flawless ever since I installed them. Now I can run automations with the garage door, like if it was left open for 10 minutes, we can get a notification on our phone, but sometimes we need the garage door open, like if we're cleaning or something, so I'll just ignore that notification, and I don't want to accidentally leave the garage door open. So we have a red light in the kitchen turn on if the garage door is open, and then that way if it got left open, we'll see that red light's on and we'll know to come out here and close the garage door. Another automation that we have is if the garage door is open, like if we're pulling in or leaving, sometimes the kids like to run out and say hi, and obviously that can be pretty dangerous. And so if the garage door is open and the door to the house opens, the lights will flash, giving us a visual indicator that, hey, watch out, someone could be in the garage and don't hit them. My wife, Allie, came up with this automation, so extremely high spouse approval factor. Another thing I added here in the garage is a laser mounted on the ceiling to help me know where to park, how far forward to pull. I know the Tesla has sensors to, if you're pulling up to a wall, like how close you are, but there's no wall in front of this because I park in the third bay. So that way we have a lot of room to load the kids and everything. And this laser is awesome. It's really inexpensive. You just mount it, point it down, and then when you're pulling up the car, it will point on your dash, and you know right when the laser hits that certain spot on the dash, you've pulled forward enough, and it works so well. But the laser just turns on for motion, and if my car is gone and the kids are in here getting ready to leave, I didn't want them to look up and get blinded by the laser. So I set up an automation that if the garage door is closed, the smart outlet that the laser is plugged into will turn off. That way, if they're in here, it's not gonna blind them, but if the garage door is open, then it will give power to the laser, so that way it can help me know where to park. And you might be like, Reed, that's a little overkill. Kids aren't just gonna go in here and look at the laser. Well, my 9-year-old has a kid in her class that stares at the sun. So yeah, kids aren't the brightest sometimes. So my wife drives the minivan, and I set the tennis ball for her when she first got this car, and she does not want to change from the tennis ball. It works great, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But this minivan's awesome. I used to be kind of opposed to minivans, but now that we have 3 kids and I see how practical they are, it's grown on me. And I drive the Model Y, and it integrates extremely well into my smart home. So when I'm getting ready to leave, take my kids somewhere or whatever, I can just press a button on my phone and it gets the car completely ready to go. It turns on the AC, it unlocks the charging port and unlocks the doors so my kids can jump in. Then I have another automation when I'm out and about and no one's home and the Tesla is heading back to the house. If like the home address is in the navigation, it will change the thermostats in the house to be way more comfortable for when I get home, because our thermostats go into away mode when everyone's gone, but it can be a little uncomfortable if you get home and it's still like that. So it gets our house ready and it's way better. So obviously one of the benefits of an EV is never going to a gas station, but you still have to remember to plug it in. And sometimes I forget. So I have the Tesla wall connector connected to my smart home, which is pretty sweet. And it knows if it's plugged into the car. And if it's not, and the car is below a certain battery percentage, then at night it will send my phone a notification to go plug it in. Or if I walk out into the garage at night and it's not plugged in and it's too low on battery, it will announce on the smart speaker to plug it in.
Don't forget to plug in the Tesla.
There's also a temperature sensor in this wall connector. So I set up an automation to let me know if it's getting too hot when I'm charging the car in the middle of summer. Because if it's really hot, and this has happened to me before, it will just overheat, this thing will turn red and it will stop working. So it will warn me before to stop charging if it gets too hot. That way I can let it cool down before I charge it again. Oh, hey, you might have noticed my shirt. I'm excited to announce that we're finally selling merch. So you can buy these shirts. I'll have links down in the description if you want to support the channel. And we're using a local company to make these. They do a really good job, but it does take about a week to ship. So be patient if you order one. And they're using next level shirts. I love these shirts. They fit so well. And they do run a little bit small. So if you're like in between a large and an extra large, I would definitely go up to like extra large. But thank you for anybody that supports our channel and buys one of these things. So over here in the corner, I have my electric bike. This is the Electric XP 3.0. They're based out of Phoenix, so I like that they're a local company. But I love this thing because there's a seat in the back and it makes it so easy to take my kids to and from school. That way I don't have to drive the car. It's way faster. But the thing I like the most is I have a phone mount right here, which I'll link everything down in the description. But I can just put my phone quickly on there. There's a button on the lock screen that I can tap, and it opens up my Home Assistant dashboard for the garage. So it has all of my garage controls, like opening up the garage door so I can quickly leave, or when I'm coming back, I can just press it as I'm riding and open up the garage door. It works extremely well. Over in this corner, I have some electric scooters. One that's a little bit older that doesn't go super fast, is kind of cheap. But the bigger one, the Varla Eagle 2, whoo, that thing is a beast. It can go 40 miles an hour. It is so fast on a scooter. I mean, it feels like you're just gonna fly off. It's dual motor. It peels out when it goes. I mean, it is amazing. And it has knobby off-road tires, so I take it on the trails. Like, I have so much fun on this thing. I did a review on it on the second channel if you're interested. It is a little pricey, but it is extremely fun. I also have some grabbers, and if you don't have grabbers in your garage, you need them. So this first grabber is a really inexpensive one on Amazon. I use these all throughout the house for cleaning up toys, but this one stays out in the garage because it helps me pick up things that I don't want to touch, like a dead bird or something. I don't want to go near that thing. So the grabber, it's perfect for things like that. Just grab it, throw it in the trash, never have to get close to it. The other one is a little bit bigger, a little more intense, and it's because it's a snake grabber. So we live here in Arizona. There are rattlesnakes. Luckily, I haven't seen any snakes here at the house, but if I did, I could use this to grab it, relocate it, or whatever I need to, help protect my family. But I haven't used it for any snakes. However, I use it for hanging up Christmas lights. So you can extend really far, grab the Christmas lights, hang them on things that are really tall. It's come in clutch. So if you need something to hang up Christmas lights and maybe grab snakes. So one of my favorite things here in the garage are the bright LED lights. So I just installed these myself. They're from Amazon. They're really inexpensive and very easy to install. And the way that I'm controlling them is they're just plugged in to a smart power strip. That same one that I'm using for the laser. It's just a Costa smart power strip, very inexpensive. And whenever the garage door is open, that power strip turns on, the lights turn on, and so we never pull in the cars to a dark garage. It's amazing. Or if you open up the door from the house to the garage, there's a contact sensor that turns on the lights, or any kind of motion sensor in here as well. And I wanted to make sure the lights never turn off on me while I'm out here working. So I made an automation that has a 10-minute countdown timer, and every time a motion sensor sees me, or if a contact sensor on a door opens, it resets that timer. So the lights never turn off on me while I'm out here. For the contact sensors, I'm just using Ring, since it can double as an alarm at night or if we're gone, but it can also know if the door is open or closed for automations. And I'm using it for this door to turn on this smart switch because the trash is right out here. And so when I'm taking out the trash at night and my hands are kind of full, I open up this door, it will automatically turn on this smart switch. I know that kind of seems unnecessary, but when your hands are full, every little bit helps. I'm also using this to remind me to wheel out the trash before trash day. So if it's the night before trash is supposed to come get picked up and I haven't opened up this door, I get a notification, say, hey, get out there and wheel out the trash. So recently I added another light, And this is from Aqara, and it was actually just released this week. I saw it at CES and I really liked it. So they sent it out to me so I could try it out. And it's extremely bright and it can do cool and warm whites. So that's pretty sweet, but it also has a trick up its sleeve. So on the outside is an RGB light strip. So you can do different colors. Not only that, you can do gradient colors, so you can do multiple colors at once. But I think that's only if you're using Aqara's hub. I have this connected straight to Home Assistant since it uses Zigbee, and I'm able to control both colors in Home Assistant. That's what I'm doing right now. But I'm only able to do one color at a time. Not really that big of a deal because I'm mainly using that as a notification in an automation. So whenever my alarm is armed, that light will turn red. And then that way, if I'm working out in the garage late at night, and this has happened before, I don't accidentally walk into the house and make the siren go off late at night and wake everyone up. So if I see that color red, I know that it's armed. I need to disarm the alarm before I go into the house. So here in the garage, I want to have cameras on the inside and outside. And I've used Wise cameras on the inside, but recently, they've had some issues. So I wanted to go with something else. So I'm using the Topo C120 camera. It's like kind of like the Casa alternate smart home brand or whatever. And best of all, it integrates well into Home Assistant using hacks. So I'm able to get the live stream of the camera into my Home Assistant dashboard, as well as get access to the motion detection on the camera. So anytime I'm around here and the camera detects somebody, then it keeps the lights on and it works really well. I also have a wired unified camera right outside the garage door pointing at the driveway. And I'm using that for another automation because sometimes it can get a little hot in the garage. And so I like to open up the garage door at night and get a little airflow, but I don't want someone sneaking up on me. So if it detects a person on my driveway or just outside my house, it will alert me so I can be ready. So here at my workbench, I have some automations that I think are pretty awesome. So I have this light that lights up the workbench and it's really inexpensive on Amazon, but it's not smart. So I have it plugged into a smart outlet that monitors energy usage. And when you turn on the light, my smart home knows that the light is on from the increased energy usage. And then it will start playing classic rock on the HomePod right here because, I'm getting some work done. And what better way to do it than with some classic rock playing in the background? And then when you're done listening, you just press the button to turn off the light and the music stops. Being able to blast music on the HomePod while I'm working out here has been amazing. But I also have another automation called Man Cave mode. It dims the lights right here and then turns on the TV and then switches over to YouTube TV so I can watch football or basketball as I'm working out here. It's been way too good. I've been spending so much time out here getting work done, of course. And yeah, I love it. And while Man Cave mode is enabled, when I turn on this light, it doesn't start playing music on the HomePod. That way I can still listen to the football game or whatever I'm watching and not have music playing on top of it. All right, that about does it for the tour. I had such a great time setting up all the automations out here. And I know it's not quite Tony Stark level, but I can see why he hangs out in his garage so much because it's so much fun to hang out here with all this tech. And I'll have everything that I mentioned in the video linked down below if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. Hey, whoa, this is my man cave. Oh, all right, okay, you can stay here.
Works every time.